Welcome back to the Voice Weekly recap. My name is Sean V. Martin.
And I'm Chris.
And we have another week's worth of episodes to review for you. A week's worth of episodes? 2 episodes that only amount to 3 hours instead of 4 this time, which is fine.
Oh, absolutely.
We still got to see plenty of singers and some really good ones. I was tweeting about it. I had opinions of the first night. I was generally disappointed. I felt like it got a little better on the second night.
Oh, definitely.
I think I figured out I was talking about the editing last week. I think each week has been a single night.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think that they record the whole night and then they edit it however they want to, because what kind of gave it away for me was this week at the beginning of Monday's show, they showed the coaches arriving and they did like the whole, like, the coaches are here thing. And then they didn't show them leave. And at the end of Tuesday's show, they showed them leave.
Yes.
So I remember them showing them arrive on the first one because obviously they came out and did their whole singing, dancing number. So I think that's what we were watching. It's got to be a long day of performances. I wonder if they rotate the audience or if everyone sits in there for hours.
Well, they probably get a break in the middle, but that might be it. I don't know. That's a good question.
I wish I do know a handful of people in LA. Maybe I could ask one of them if they know anything about it or know anyone who could answer that question.
We should send some spies in.
Okay. If anyone's listening who can sneak their way into the Voice Auditorium, you don't know us.
We have no affiliation.
But yeah, anyway. Yeah, we got some good contestants this week. I think poor Blake this year last year Christina was the one who couldn't keep up with the other judges, and this year it's Blake. His roster is really small compared to everyone else's.
Yeah, and he's gone down to new levels to try and get people to not pick the other judges.
Oh my God, he was hysterical the other night.
So funny.
I tweeted something like, Blake is just killing it. He was so funny.
He was a riot.
So Monday night's show opened with Melanie Martinez. She was a 17-year-old from New York. And this was a great way to open the show, at least for me, because Toxic by Britney Spears is my favorite Britney Spears song. In fact, I've even done a drum cover of that song.
Yes, I've seen it.
I can't resist it. It's written by songwriters who wrote several other pop songs that I can't help but like. I'm going to find them right now. They wrote I Kissed a Girl by Katy Perry.
Okay.
And they also wrote some songs for Kelly Clarkson. And I've mentioned several times how much I really like Kelly Clarkson.
Yeah, no, she's a really good performer. I like listening to her too.
She was on the last season of The Voice as one of the mentors. I forget for whose team. Yeah, I don't remember, but she was really great. I like her attitude a lot. So anyway, Melanie comes out. She's 17. She comes out with a guitar and a tambourine. And as she was walking out, I was like, how's she gonna play both of those?
Exactly. I'm like, watch her go. Oh, that's great. First thing I read down, she has a guitar and a tambourine, and then I immediately stopped and went, oh, wait a second.
I had this friend who I played in a band with who explained to me, he had a music teacher or professor or something. He went to school for music, who complained that a guitar is a very inefficient instrument because it requires all your fingers basically to produce just a handful of notes. And you compare that to like a piano where you can produce so much more sound with the same amount of fingers, with the same amount of digits. You know what I mean? He actually said that the most efficient instrument in terms of like fingers to notes produced is an accordion.
Oh yeah.
It's got all those buttons that shift modes and stuff. I don't even understand how an accordion works. It's a bizarre instrument to me. But anyway, I was like, she's going to have her hands full with the guitar. How's she going to play a tambourine? And she put it between her feet.
And kicks it.
And she just tapped it with her feet. And obviously she has played a gig or two like this. She was very
she had that
sure of
whole
herself.
thing down for how to do that together with everything. And that impressed me beyond belief to begin with. because I'm not talented enough to do like when I play the piano, unless my hands are doing the exact same thing, I can't really do it.
Okay, so you have like syncopation problems?
Yeah, I if I train like together to do each one for each part at the same time, I can do it. But if I learn my left hand for one thing, my right hand for another, it's like, okay, now go play them together. Forget it.
Yeah, that was something that even though I had played piano for several years, when I started playing drums, I had tons of problems separating my limbs. Basically, getting good at drums involves you separating all four of your limbs from each other.
Yeah.
Once you can do that, you're much better.
Oh, absolutely.
So Melanie came out and she sang Toxic, like I said, but no version of Toxic that you've ever heard sounded like this. It was a very sweetly sung, kind of like a swing tempo. And I was just like, boom, 5. I wrote down 5 immediately. I was like, this is the kind of contestant I want to see on the show. I like this.
Yeah, I said she's multi-talented, and I really think she can go a long way with being able to do that. That was really impressive.
She sang with a very natural style, but she also put all kinds of flair on her voice, like squeaky notes and stuff that she just... It wasn't out of control squeaky, it was deliberately squeaky. And did Adam turn around first? I think he did.
Blake and Adam were first to turn around. I think they're really close to each other. But sometimes the way I write my notes is the first person I write down, but this time I just think I just put both.
I keep forgetting to write down who the first person is, and the wiki, as complete as it is, that's one of the things that they don't note.
Right.
I should jump in there and start editing it and put in who turned around when.
Oh, yeah.
So Christina didn't turn around. She's typically the holdout. She was this time. She went with Team Adam. I don't think she really gave a reason, but I was fine with that. He was very passionate about her choosing him for her coach.
Yeah, he gave a really good pitch for her picking his team.
Yeah, so I like her a lot.
Oh, yeah.
After her, they brought out... Okay, have you heard the Cupid Shuffle?
Once.
I don't recall ever hearing this song.
Yeah, it was once a long time ago. So when it came out, it's like, it's Cupid. He has his own song, the Cupid Shuffle. It's like, okay, awesome. He goes, I wonder what he's going to sing. And they say, I'm going to sing the Cupid Shuffle. I'm like, you're an idiot. Like that. I know you were like the same way by your tweet with that. Cause
you and I tweeted literally within 10 seconds of each other, basically the same thing.
Yeah.
We were like, okay, you think that you're held back by this song. Why are you singing it?
Yeah, if that's your vice with the problem where I can't get out of this, and then you want to be different, sing something different. And he's like, I'm going to sing my song.
I understood his philosophy that he wants to be able to impress with that song because that is the song that holds him back. But if that's the case, do it later, once you've passed the audition.
Yeah, do something different for the audition because you got to show them what you're capable of, not what you can already do, because they want different. And here he went to the same thing that he already had. It
clearly confused the judges. They were, I'm sure CeeLo seemed to recognize him the second he saw him. So
he did.
He had to have recognized his voice when he was singing. He must have been like, this guy sounds exactly like Cupid, which is probably really confusing if you're not able to see them.
Right.
So he was the first one of the night who no one turned around for, and he looked very defeated. And I went, yeah, because you made a dumb decision.
Right. He picked the same song. Like, oh, that irritated me. And I knew we had to talk about him when he came up because we skip some people.
Right. Some of the people who don't make it.
We had to talk about because that was a big flaw for me as soon as I saw what song he was singing.
Oh, man. That was a silly move. And they asked him sing something else, and he sang like 10 seconds of Let's Get Together. Let's Stay Together. What's that Marvin Gaye song?
I think that's what it was. Yeah, I thought he sounded a lot better doing it.
Yeah, and he sounds like he can sing. I don't know why. Why he didn't sing something else. That was disappointing. Maybe he'll come back next year. Maybe he'll be one of those people who's like, oh, I learned from my mistake.
Yeah, hopefully.
The next contestant up was Brian Tozy. I think that's the way it was pronounced. I actually misspelled it because it's Skartaki.
Yeah, I put Z's in it first too.
Skartozy. And they had a good package for him. I can't. Was he the single dad? Or was that someone else?
I think so. Let me see. Yeah, I think he was.
Yeah, he had a really like sweet story. He's got, if this is the contestant who I'm thinking of, he had 2 daughters, and he seemed like a really nice guy. He sang "Isn't She Lovely," which is a Stevie Wonder song.
Right.
And I was not as impressed with his voice as I was with him. I really liked him, but I was just kind of so-so on his voice.
Yeah, I thought he hit the high notes pretty good. He sounded good from the start. You can really see him getting the song, like, bring a lot of the meaning out of it. But I kind of put him as a 3/4 because I wasn't sure where he was going to go.
Mm-hmm.
As much as some other people I've seen now.
Honestly, compared to some of the people that they haven't turned around for, I was surprised he got Adam Selo and Blake all to turn around. I was a little surprised.
Yeah, because sometimes you see like 2 people and they sound better than others, and you're like, really?
Yeah, that always boggles my mind. But I guess it's the difference between being there and having a design in mind for what your team is going to be. I mean, none of that is weighing on me. I'm sitting on the couch judging people.
We're our own team. We got this.
So he went with Team Adam as well. That was 2 for Adam right off the bat, right out of the gate.
Yep.
They showed several people who did not make it at that point, including they were trying to give us some momentum going into a duo. So they showed us 2 duos in a row who did not make the cut.
Yep.
And then they showed us Beat Frequency is the name of the duo. It's Sean Lewis and Natasha, German name, Neuschwander. I'm going to go, sure, why not?
That sounds good.
And they sang a song by Katy Perry. Is that E.T.? Yes, Katy Perry.
So.
And Christina turned around for them fairly quickly.
Yes.
I like almost immediately. I think as soon as she heard that it was a duo, she turned around. And she was the only one who turned around, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
There aren't that many times that she's the sole person to turn around. And I gave them a 3. I said that their singing was fine. I don't like them. It's kind of like the opposite of Brian Scartozzi. I thought his singing was okay, and I really liked him. These guys, I thought their singing was okay, and I'm like,
Yeah. I thought they sounded better together than as individuals when they were singing by themselves, but I wasn't. It was weird because they were described as the best duo so far, but I don't think that's what I thought.
I even liked that. Was the country duo the only other one that's been?
I think so.
Yeah, and I definitely thought they were better.
Yeah, I thought they were better.
And I don't even like country.
Yeah, and I think that's the point at which I thought that they recorded all like different things.
It might have been out of order.
They want because I thought they were much better. They were 2 Steel Girls, right? They were the one that we really liked.
Right.
Yeah. Look at me. Remember last week.
Nice. Yeah, so I guess my weirdest the weirdest thing about them that bugged me was the guy was 35 and he was kind of dressing like I would expect Justin Bieber to dress.
Yeah.
On tour. And the girl said I could have sworn she said she was 28. The wiki says 27. I think she's over 30.
Yeah, she looks it.
Unless it's just a lot of makeup that kind of misled me. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. Usually I'm underage for everybody. I never think anybody's close to their age. So when I overshoot somebody, it's rare.
Yeah. So I was okay. I'm glad they made it. I think it'll be an interesting dynamic with them as a duo in the mix, but I probably won't be rooting for them in any way.
Yeah.
Up next after them was Liz Davis from Madison, Mississippi. And boy, she talked like she was from Madison, Mississippi.
Oh, yeah, she did.
She sang Here for the Party, which is by Gretchen Wilson, who I've never heard of. I'm sure she's very successful, and I just don't pay attention to country.
Yep, same here.
And of course, Blake turned around. But in addition, Christina and Adam both turned around. I was very surprised that they all turned around. Because as far as the country artists that we've heard so far, I thought she was the worst.
Yeah, I wasn't too keen on her performance.
I feel like I can judge a country vocal even if I don't like country, and hers was just really rough and inconsistent. And she's not that young. She's 25.
Right.
So I sometimes I will give people the benefit of the doubt because they're young, they need experience and growth, and she, I thought, should have been better for her age. But of course they don't know that when they're turning around. They didn't know how old she was.
Right.
And for some reason she didn't go with Christina. She's not one of those girls who, Christina was my first CD. She went with Team Blake because she's a country girl all the way, I guess.
Well, she went with Team Blake because he pulled out his AMC award.
Was that the one that
That's
he pulled
the
it out
one he
for?
pulled it out.
Oh man, I really liked that gag. He was walking
That
around
was
with
so
that award
funny.
all day, bugging everyone.
And he's like, yeah, I guess something's got poking me in my butt. He pulls it out, like, oh, nice. Very nice.
Doesn't Christina Aguilera have Grammys? I've got to assume.
She did, but I think they actually brought that up, and she didn't bring them because of something. She had too many of them, maybe. I think she said something about
She
them.
can't carry them all.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Yeah, she's got 4 Grammy Awards and 1 Latin Grammy Award.
All right.
So, geez, she's very
Yeah, that's
awarded.
a lot.
So Blake pulled out his award. Liz joined Team Blake, and there we go. After her was JR. I forget how he pronounces his last name.
Kino?
Aquino. It's spelled Aquino. And I was saying last week, some of these contestants have met success on YouTube. He's met a lot of success on YouTube. In fact,
Oh, yeah. He's got a ton of followers.
he was really well known. I looked him up later, and he, here it is. He took part in the 4th season of American Idol, making it to the top 44.
Okay.
So he was eliminated by the judges before it got to public voting.
Right.
So he lives in Alaska, and he kind of explained in his package that Alaska does not have a very big music scene.
Shocking.
And I forget who said that they'd been to Alaska, and they were like, yeah, not that many bars. And he's like, there were 3.
Yeah, he knew how many.
Because he's played them all.
Yep.
But I will link his channel in the info, and I will make sure that I specifically link the one song that he talked about. His most viewed song on YouTube is surprisingly not a cover. It's one of his original songs. And it's a very sweet song. It's just like a single take camera, just a simple webcam in front of a camera or in front of a computer. And it's very nice. And I liked him. He's probably not one of my favorites. I gave him a 4. And I said he didn't wow me, but he did get 3 of the judges to turn around, not Blake. What did you think?
I thought he sounded better in the middle of the song than the beginning.
He sang a Bruno Mars song.
Yeah. Just the Way You Are. It's definitely, I thought, a great version of the song. I thought his pitch was really good, so I put on more of like a 4-ish for me.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely not a 5. But I definitely liked his YouTube video. I watched it. So.
I had to check him out because I'm all about the YouTube. Next up was Nicholas David. He's from Minnesota. He's a big hulk of a guy, and he had I have to do this. Great big bushy beard.
Yes.
And he was the one who talked about weight gain and like he struggled with a lot of personal issues.
Right.
He was wearing big pants, and Alicia said when he lost the weight, he didn't get new pants.
Right.
But he came out and sang "Stand By Me." He played guitar, and I was a little bit surprised that CeeLo was the only one turned around. I think he was kind of surprised when he turned around and saw that guy, because I don't know if the show like encourages makeovers once they get past this initial round, but they might want to give him some style tips, maybe.
Yeah, it's not the It's not even the hat that he was wearing was not the person I expected to be wearing that hat.
Yeah, it
'Cause
was
I
like
have
a
friend who
fisherman's
wears
hat or
hats like
something.
that, and he doesn't look like him. And he looks. Yeah, let me tell you, he's styling all the time, my friend. And that guy, I was like, no.
My note says voice voice was solid. Look, WTF.
Yeah, yeah. I thought he had kind of a bluesy sound to him that I kind of liked, but I would have only put him at a 3 regardless for like the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, he had an acoustic guitar with him too. So
Yeah, he seemed experienced. He's been
yeah.
doing this for a little while. After
Oh, and my notes also say that CeeLo's parrot or whatever his bird is apparently liked him a lot.
oh, did it?
Yeah, because remember they're showing CeeLo with the bird on his shoulder, and like the bird was like freaking out when he mentioned his
Oh
name.
yeah, that's right. That's right. I like that
I
they.
take notes like that.
We need to keep track of the fauna on the show.
Oh yeah, the cat was in the car at one point too. CeeLo's cat.
Yeah, that was really funny.
Yeah, that was a
People
riot.
have probably been asking where that cat has been, and
me too.
now we see.
There it is. It's in the car.
Its name is Perfect, by the way, in case you missed it last season.
I did.
Perfect tweets, by the way. I talked about it on 5 Things last year. She still tweets. You can follow her, and she talks about the voice and stuff.
Oh, nice.
Very funny.
I might have to do that now.
After Nicholas, Alessandra Guercio, I think I got that right, came out. She is a 17-year-old from Brooklyn. She goes to the name of the school I'm forgetting, but it is the FAME School. It's the School for the Performing Arts.
Yeah, it's on the I'm blanking on the name, but anyway.
She came out and sang, I think it's a Miley Cyrus song, The Climb.
Yeah, she sang The Climb.
And man, I hate that song.
Me too.
I gave her a 2. I wasn't thrilled. My note is meh. She looks nice.
Yeah, I thought the beginning was okay. I thought it sounded better as she came through the song.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And that she hit the high notes pretty well, but I said about 3 only. I don't know.
It seems like the contestants that I end up really liking, I can always tell in like the first 10 seconds. It does not take me long to know that I'm really going to like someone.
Yeah, and when it's like...
It's harder for them to change my mind. If they start bad, I'm just like...
Yeah, that's why sometimes I'm like, hey, this person is kind of good. And then they hit that really rough spot. I'm like, ugh. I don't know what to do with them then.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I usually... Probably most people have noticed. I don't give out too many 2s and 1s because I don't know where to put some people sometimes. So most people end up in that 3 category.
Right.
I just don't know what to do with them.
I guess I would give 1 to someone who made it, and I know that I will never root for them.
Yeah.
I will probably root against them, especially in the case of battle rounds, where they will probably go up against someone who I like more because they're a 1.
Right.
So she did the climb. Adam and CeeLo both turned around for her. She also joined Team Adam.
And then next up, we had a couple of the short ones they showed on TV.
Yeah, I think they did 3 in a row. I know. Looking at this, I can tell why they didn't show us the full thing, and it was because in each case, only one judge turned around.
Right.
So it was just like, oh, there's no drama here.
Yeah, and that's all my notes were. It was name, person, turn around. And that was all I had time to write by the time they got to the next one.
Also, I thought of this after we podcasted last week. I bet it's entirely possible that the people who they kind of speed through don't have good stories. They made it on the show, but they don't have much to talk about. And in this case, it's 2 15-year-olds and a 16-year-old.
Right.
So they probably they don't have enough experience. They're high school kids.
Yeah. What have they done in the whole 15 years of life leading up to this point? That's like
this is their biggest story so far.
Right.
Getting on The Voice.
Yeah, it's not like the single dad with 2 kids or the person who had the heart trouble, who was in a coma, came out of it. Like, it's kind of just like, oh, they went to high school.
Right. And it's kind of
Right.
unfortunate because it means that we don't get an image of them
Yeah, we have
until
no vibe for
later.
how they're gonna do.
But I mean, I understand it. I will
Yeah.
I will allow it the voice. Thank you. Go ahead.
Yep.
And then closing out Monday night's show was Avery Wilson, who also was a 16-year-old. I don't remember exactly what her story was. No, I don't. But the reason she closed the show is because she was the only one of the night who had a 4-seat turnaround.
Yes.
I'm realizing now Avery was a guy, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Avery Wilson is a guy.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
Hold on.
Yep.
I got this. Yeah, and he started out good. I thought he had a little issue with a couple of high notes for the first one, but that last high note he hit wonderfully.
Yeah. Yes. I think
that sold it for
Christina?
I think she was the last one to turn around.
I think so. He sang this song
No.
Without You by David Guetta, who that song is sung by Usher. And clearly this kid was emulating Usher a little bit.
Yeah. And it's just the end of that song was perfect. That's what got me.
Mm-hmm.
Was the end of it when he hit that, because the first time I was like, "Oh, rough," and then the second one I was like, "Ooh, great."
Mm-hmm. And that's age, right? Like they can coach him and get him to work on the things that he's
Rats.
missing in his voice.
The one thing I noticed was that when he chose CeeLo. CeeLo looked like shocked that he picked him.
Yeah, he did. Yes, he did. How many 4-chair? I'm gonna look back and see. Are there any 4-chair turnarounds that CeeLo has won so far? There's one for Adam. I don't think so. Nope.
I'm not seeing one.
So yeah, that's the first one that he's won of the season. I bet that out of the 4 of them, unfortunately, it's usually Adam or Christina who gets the contestant when there's a 4-chair turnaround. So yeah, I'm glad he's on the show, and I'm sorry, Avery, for thinking that you were a girl, but Avery is a girl's name. Just throwing it out there.
Right. And everybody gets all jumbled together anyway, where we just forget.
Right. This wiki and our notes do not have thumbnails to go with it.
Right.
Later, when the show gets a little bit further along, I hope that we know the contestants by heart.
Yeah. By the time we see them a couple of times, I should know them. And I'm terrible with names. I fully admit that fact. So, just throwing it out there.
So that was the end of Monday night's show. And that was, at that point, I said, okay, kind of a little disappointed with the...
Yeah. I was like, okay, thanks that that's over, because that was a little rough.
I was really excited about the first contestant. The last one was pretty solid. And everyone in the middle, I was just like, okay.
Yeah. There was an hour and 40 minutes where we were all like, come on.
I like that they have the stories and everything to keep us entertained, but sometimes I want them to fit in more performances, but they want to stretch this whole thing out for 3 weeks or whatever. I get it.
Yeah.
So Tuesday night's show began with Trevin? Was it Trevin?
Trevane, I think is how it's said.
Okay.
Trevane Howell, who sang "I Have Nothing," and as it was titled
It's
appropriately.
kind of fitting.
Because they got nothing.
I tweeted something like, I can't believe that they opened the show with someone who didn't make it.
Yeah, wasn't that Whitney Houston song?
Yes.
And my exact notes said, I thought it had a good sound to it, but I feel like she had some trouble, and she just didn't. It was like the one powerful voice the whole way through.
Yeah, I think one of the judges said that.
Yeah, it was like a freight train that you just did not stop. And I was like, and from listening to Whitney, that's not how a Whitney song is done at all.
It's got to have a variety of emotions, and
yeah, and it was one.
Yeah, and singing a Whitney song in the exact same style as the way it was originally performed is already kind of a risky move for an audition.
Right.
So no one turned around. They had nice things to say to her. And since I'm really only keeping notes on the contestants who make it, when they opened the show, I just started writing down her info because I was like, well, she's opening the show. Clearly, she's gonna. Oh, she didn't make it.
Yeah, I write notes anyway, and then I always put at the end like if someone didn't pick her or something, and that was yeah.
So that was a little surprising and kind of a sad way to begin the show, but okay, they want to do it that way, fine.
Yep.
And then they brought out Colin McLaughlin, who, when they said his name at first, I thought they said Kyle I forget. It might actually be pronounced the same way. Kyle McLaughlin,
Which is what I wrote.
is an actor. Kyle McLaughlin was on Twin Peaks. He was in The Fifth Element, I think. And
Okay.
they said his name, and I was like, Kyle McLaughlin tried out for the voice? What?
Yeah.
And then no, it's Colin and then it looks like Laughlin. Mick Laughlin, but it's McLaughlin because he's Irish.
Right.
They do that thing with their GHs. And I tweeted this immediately. He started singing Cat Stevens. I was like, yes.
Yep.
Yes, I want
Always a win.
I want him. So I gave him a 4. I said he's missing something. Like he's missing that X factor that Simon Cowell always used to talk about, and now he's talking about all the time on the X Factor. But I definitely loved his song choice. That makes a
that was a great choice.
that makes a big part of it for me. He sang Wild World, and one thing that he did during his performance that I really liked is he asked the audience to sing along.
Yeah. And I noticed too was that when he asked the audience to sing along, the only judge to sing along was Blake.
And I bet they
interesting.
all know that song.
Yeah, like why? Like, come on, everybody! I'm like, even now I'm sitting there, like, I'm singing along a little bit too. I'm like, hey, this is great. I like this one.
Christina often sings along. I guess more so when she's still with her back to the contestant.
Right.
They'll show her just like mouthing the words. She was probably singing along to the Whitney song. I seem to remember that.
Yeah.
And 3 judge turnaround, Adam, CeeLo, and Blake. And he ended up going with Adam. He played guitar as well, which was nice for a Cat Stevens song because Cat Stevens is always playing acoustic.
Yep.
And I like him, but I don't think he's a 5. I think he's missing something.
Yeah, I put him as like a 4.5. I wanted to say.
We're split. Actually, when I started doing the ratings, I did have a 1 through 10 scale, and I realized that I was only picking even numbers. So I was like, okay, we're gonna reduce this fraction.
Yeah,
I'll just do 1 through 5.
Me, who's taking your system and going, I'm gonna put halves in.
This one I picked a 3.75. So after Colin came Jocelyn Rivera, and as far as I know, that is a girl's name.
Yes, that is.
She was 17 years old. She sang "Stronger" by Kelly Clarkson, the aforementioned fabulous Kelly Clarkson. This is another song that I've covered on my drum channel.
Yep.
I should start linking all the songs that I've covered on my channel.
Oh yeah, because yours are way better.
Well,
Just saying.
I don't want to brag.
You're right, exactly.
Actually,
I'll brag for you.
I just broke 5,000 hits on that on that song, so that was pretty cool. I gave her 2. I overall, I felt like her attitude was great. Like, she really wants it. She's a good performer. But her voice just wasn't great for me. It wasn't great for me, dog.
Yeah. The one thing, I learned something very important from her performance. I can prescribe music.
Yeah? Is that a doctor joke?
That's what they said, because she was the one who was born very prematurely, had the neurologic problems.
That's right.
It wasn't speaking. And then they said the doctor prescribed her music. And I was like, immediately in my head, I went, I can prescribe music. I go, I'm going to write that on somebody's chart later.
Well, it makes sense. I took a linguistic class, which is an English class, not a medical field related class. But we talk in that class, we talk about the parts of the brain. And basically, your music center in your brain is not in the same place as the language center.
Right.
They're 2 separate things. So she was having developmental problems with being able to speak. I think she could speak, but she had a learning disability, so it really stunted her growth in that area. but there was no problem with her music area, which is music is a lot more like math in your brain.
Right.
So what they did was they appealed to, some doctor was really smart and decided to appeal to her music, and that totally reversed the problem. And within a couple years, she was fine.
Yeah.
That's really cool. That's a great story.
Oh yeah, I enjoyed that story a lot.
So I gave her a 2. I was surprised when Christina turned around for her. She must have heard some potential there that I wasn't grasping, but that's why she's Christina and I'm not. And so did Blake. And I mean, in a competition between Christina and Blake with a 17-year-old girl.
Yeah, who's going to win? Unless they're a country singer, who's going to win?
So she went with Team Christina. I think she even said, like, you were the first album I bought. One of those girls.
Right.
I always enjoy those little stories.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm glad to have her on the show. I hope that she can overcome my own. I'm judging her. I hope that she can really impress me. I would like that.
Yeah.
After Jocelyn came Benji, a 24-year-old from Florida, and he came out singing "Knocking on Heaven's Door."
Right.
Which I think you could very easily bomb with that song.
Oh, absolutely.
And he did a great interpretation of it. I was really impressed with the amount of control that he had. It was a very well done arrangement of the song that really suited what he wanted to do with it. I liked him a lot. I gave him a 4.
Oh yeah, I did too. I thought, because especially the part where he was screaming, it wasn't screaming, and here comes the metal music reference again. It wasn't screaming like metal music. It was very, very well controlled, and it didn't like overpower the song, which I thought was perfect.
Like if you think of Steven Tyler singing "I Don't Want to Miss a Thing," he's got that screech in it when like it's building to the chorus, and he just goes, "Ah!" It was that kind of thing. It wasn't metal. It was like this just rock and roll.
It was just perfect, fit right in, no problem. Was awesome.
I was not at all surprised that CeeLo turned around, and I actually kind of wish that Benji would have joined CeeLo's team. I don't know why. I just felt like the two of them would have jived for some reason.
I thought he would pick CeeLo, and I was kind of surprised when he didn't.
Right, he chose Adam. Maybe he just wanted to go with a former winner. Or maybe he just really likes Maroon 5. I don't know.
Yeah. So next up were 3 quick ones. We had Todd Kessler, Ben Taub, and Emily Earle. And this is when CeeLo went on his "You're on my team" rampage.
Yeah, 2 of them defaulted. He was the only one who turned around. Ben Taub, apparently Blake turned around. Not that we knew that because they flashed right through it.
Yeah, it was 10 seconds. Boom, here's your person. Go. So we have no knowledge of what they're going to do.
I always find it interesting when a judge chooses a country-sounding artist who Blake does not turn around for. Like in the case of Emily Earle, who sang Johnny Cash.
Right.
Because why didn't Blake turn around if she put on a good country performance, right?
Right. So that makes you wonder how her country is, or maybe it's something he's looking for. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not like Blake only has to choose country or something.
Exactly.
I don't want to pigeonhole him. Let's talk a little bit about Lorraine.
So next up is Lorraine Farrow, 52-year-old from New York who sang "Skyscraper." And this was the first time where, and I don't know about you, but I sat through the whole performance and I had no idea what to write about. Like, none. My exact notes were, I don't even know what to write. Not sure how to take the performance. No one turned around, period.
Yeah, they introduced her by explaining she was a vocal coach. She's always, she's the one who's training the people who go on to be professionals, but right. She's not done it herself. And she was a little ball of energy. She seemed really sweet. But American Idol would always, the way that the judges would always dismiss someone like this is they would say, this competition isn't right for you.
Right.
And I think that in this was one of those cases where, sorry, honey, but the voice is not the right place for you.
Yeah.
And obviously the judges agreed. She was fine. I mean, she sounded the way I expected her to sound, but I don't
just didn't
think
know
she
what
stands a chance on this show.
Yeah, like I didn't know what to say. Like it's not terrible, it's not great. I just have no idea.
It was a little sad because her entire family was there because she's got grown children. Her mom was there, and she was still smiles and everything after she got turned down, but she walked back in the green room and they all greet her like they're like they're mourning someone.
Yeah.
That was sad.
Yeah, that was a little rough.
And then they brought us back on a high note. Do you remember how they said this guy's name?
Wassman, I think is how they said it.
I meant the first name. Is it
Seal
Michael?
Wassman?
I think it was Michael.
Michael? I think it was Michael.
Which, of course, I wrote.
Right.
Yeah, I must have written Michael and then fixed it because it's Mycle, which that's weird. And he's 40 years old, so it's not like he's got weird modern parents who are like, we're making him Michael but with a Y. No,
right.
It was maybe he had hippie parents. I don't know. So Michael Wassman came out. I think he also had a story about he was married.
His father died from bone cancer.
That's right.
His mother died from a respiratory disorder, which is all they give us. So I had some ideas turning in my head of what that could be.
He wanted to diagnose.
Oh, of course. That's immediately what I do when I hear medical stuff. It's bad.
And he was raised by his grandfather, who had just died like 10 days before the recording of the audition.
Which made my heart just sink.
Yeah. Like, oh, this poor guy, his whole family is dead. But he came out and sang Let's Stay Together. And he said before he came out that he has a voice that doesn't really match his face. And I'd agree with him.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
I can't believe Christina did not turn around.
Yeah, and I think I know what got her to not turn around was the end of the song. Because she looked like she was almost about to hit it. Then he hit one part of his notes when he was singing, and she just took her hand right away.
Also the fact that the other three judges had already turned around probably.
Right, which usually makes Christina not turn around.
Yeah, if they hadn't turned around, she would have been like, okay, you idiots aren't going to take him.
Earlier, and then all four turned around. But it seems like once the other three turn around, she won't.
I really liked his variety. He clearly chose a song and performance that he could show off different elements of the way that he can sing. He's 40 years old. He knows his instrument. He sang straight voiced. He sang high notes. He sang falsetto. And he seemed to do all of it good to well to really, really good.
Yeah. Yeah, I really enjoyed his performance. I thought it was a great way to end the week, was with him.
And he chose CeeLo, which put CeeLo on a run of those. That was 4 contestants in a row and 4 for the night. Adam only had 2, Christina only had 1, and Blake had none.
You got a big old bagel. Yeah, and what's interesting was for that performance, Blake didn't give much of a pitch either for the guy.
Yeah, I wonder why not.
Yeah, that was kind of interesting.
I think he'll do well with CeeLo.
Yeah.
I think that he will be a good judge for him. CeeLo is also a pretty varied singer. His voice is just bizarre.
Yeah.
It's awesome, but it is weird. I've never heard anyone sing like the way he sings.
Yeah, I really enjoy listening to CeeLo.
And that about wraps it up for the performances this week. Anything you want to add, Chris?
I'd just like to mention the fact that I have 3 new followers on Twitter now from last week. Thank you, everybody who followed me.
Very nice. Yeah,
specifically Carter.
I was just gonna say, I saw that Carter followed you.
Hi, Carter. Yeah, so I got 3 new followers. So thank you, everybody.
Very nice.
I'd like more. Follow me on Twitter, please.
His name will be in the info. It's KARR 2001.
Yes.
Next week we will be back. There's going to be another run of blind auditions Monday and Tuesday. There will be one more blind auditions night after that on October 1st. So we'll have several more hours worth of contestants to go through.
We're looking forward to it.
Thanks everyone for listening, and we will see you next week.
See you then.